What's going on, family? Thank you for tuning in to another episode. Once again, it's your guy, Board Lucky Libra, in the building. All right. As y'all can see by the title of this video, we're picking up the signs through the houses series with Aquarius in that ninth house. So, shout out to all my Gemini risings in the building. Shout out to all my Gemini risings in the building. You may be a Taurus rising, you may be a Cancer rising, but if you got Aquarius in the ninth house, this video is for you. All right. If you're studying somebody with Aquarius in the ninth house, this video is for you. Okay, guys. I appreciate the likes, the shares, the subscriptions. Okay. Tap into my website if you'd like to connect with the Lucky Libra. Tap into my Patreon if you'd like to dive deep. All right. Hope everybody's having a fruitful start to 2023. Okay. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Aquarius in the ninth house. Once again, the houses in the natal chart represent areas of life. When we look at the constellations, you might have intercepted houses or you just have one sign in the house. But regardless, whatever signs or sign you have in the house is a frequency vibration you're experiencing in that area. So it's not necessarily what you're doing, but because you're experiencing this energy a lot, because you're influenced by this energy a lot, because people, places, and things and situations will correlate to that constellation in that area. Like you may develop certain characteristic traits based off that energy. All right. Now, the ninth house. What is the ninth house? Ninth house is one of the more spiritually inclined houses in the zodiac. It rules our experiences, it rules exploration, adventure, it rules our pursuit of knowledge. All right. So the things that we naturally love to, we're intrigued to learn about. Nobody has to motivate us or push us to learn about these things. We're looking at that ninth house. All right. But this is the house of higher learning, has a huge influence on how we navigate the educational environment. Okay. Huge influence on how we develop our belief systems in this lifetime. All right. No, don't ever forget it. This house is dealing with your experiences. So whatever signs, planets, or wherever the ruler is at for this house has a huge influence on your experiences in this lifetime, the things that you will attract teachers, mentors for. All right. The things that you may become an example will eventually you will become an example of having knowledge and wisdom and insight of this energy. All right. So, first off, Aquarius, fixed air, ruled by Saturn, co ruled by Uranus. So, we got a Saturn and a Uranus influence here, right? We have an air influence here. We have a fixed influence here. And first thing we need to look at is the ruler, right? We need to look at the ruler, which is Saturn. All right. Saturn is the ruler of your ninth house. What does Saturn deal with? Restriction, limitation, reality, boundaries, order, foundation, structure, rules time. So wherever Aquarius and Saturn is at in your chart, you will have to be patient here. You have to understand the significance of time in this area. All right. So off rip, you need to know what house Saturn is in. All right. You need to know what house Saturn is in. If you got Aquarius on the ninth house cusp, all right. Because whatever house Saturn is in, this is the area that you're gonna be developing a lot of knowledge and wisdom. You're gonna be experiencing here a lot. You're gonna be attracting mentors, teachers here a lot, and this is the area you're gonna be naturally intrigued to learn about. On top of becoming an example of having knowledge and wisdom in this house. So you're naturally a teacher of this house. Okay, and where do we start? Aquarius. Aquarius being a fixed air sign, we know that they have this influence of being somewhat outcast energy, being opposing, not easily influenced, not easily persuaded, individual free thinkers. So take all this into account into how this person navigates the ninth house. They're going to think for their own in this house. They're going to be individual thinkers for the most part in this house. They're going to have natural influences. This could be friendships, relationships, family members, however it manifests, they're gonna attract a certain energy that kind of influences them to understand that regardless of what you learn in school, regardless of what this, that, and the third teaches you, you got to be able to develop concepts on your own. They're gonna manifest that in some type of shape or form. All right. So, one thing about these individuals when it comes into being in the education environment, right? When it comes to school, uh, they may struggle with authorities a little bit here. They may struggle with authorities a little bit here. All right. Aquarius is not really one to get along with authority. When we get into the ninth, 10th house area, we're dealing with authorities. Ninth house, we're dealing with professors, we're dealing with teachers, we're dealing with you know, authorities of all sorts, mentors, supervisors, whatever. And then when we get into the 10th house, obviously we're dealing with bosses, all different type of authorities in the workspace. But ninth house definitely has an influence on authority in when it comes into credentials of knowledge and wisdom. So more so like in a teacher format. And when it comes into Aquarius in this ninth house, this individual may catch influences to not easily conform to what people are trying to teach them. So just like how I was saying for Taurus risings with Capricorn in the ninth house, how uh how they may not you know they could be a little detached, you know, and look at certain things that's being taught in school as unrealistic. That trait can come into this placement as well. You know, remember Aquarius is an abstract thinker. So when you have this energy in the ninth house, yeah, they gonna question. They might be mad young and shit, questioning the Christopher Columbus coming to America story might sound a little funny to them. They might question that shit early. So you mean to tell me he just came this, that, and the third, blah blah blah? Well, I heard the true story about the pilgrims. This I heard that I heard it was a massacre. I heard that's the origin of Thanksgiving. So this Aquarius in the ninth house, they may do some extra studying. When we talk about abstract thinking, this is the ability to think outside of the box, to take the mind places where other people don't want to take the mind. Don't take the mind, you know, to the unknown. Huge influence on the unknown when we talk about Aquarius. So when it's in the ninth house, these people want to learn about goddamn everything. They want to learn about everything and they will expand on top. They will do their research on top of the things or be influenced to do their research on things that they may be educated about in the school system. Now, within actual school experiences, the junior high school, middle school, well, in a way, we could kind of tie junior high school, elementary, middle school, kind of to the third house. But the third ninth house axis is dealing with education, period. So when we look at like whatever high school, college, or whatnot, with Aquarius in this house, uh, these people, because Aquarius is an air sign, right? We know it's an air sign, but we know it's a real individual, right? But at the same time, air deals with relationships. And when we look at the relationships Aquarius influences, it's more so community, communities, groupings. So one thing about Aquarius in the ninth house is it's not a surprise if this person felt outcasted or was outcasted in some type of shape or form in high school or whatnot, in college. And when I say outcasted, I'm not using that in a negative connotation. I'm using that in the I'm saying that in the sense where these individuals, they're not they're not easily persuaded or conform to everything that's going on within the school system, within what everybody else is doing in school, what their peers is doing. Now, this is a Gemini rising, so they're very relatable signs. These are very relatable people. These people cannot like you and still be a little bit relatable, Gemini risings. All right. That's just their personality. But when we get into Aquarius in the ninth house, you'll see the shift of how they participate with their peers, you know, and you'll see them start to cling on to people who think like them. You'll see them cling on to people in school that, are somewhat radical, or they may have a very small, they may Gemini risings, once again, they're real relatable individuals, so their life is dealing with a lot of relationships. When we get into that school, anything dealing with their educational pursuits, spiritual pursuits, you can start to see them have a small social circle here, because they're really going to want to start just relating energy with people who think like them. All right. um so on one spectrum, we have Aquarius in the ninth house, where these people can be somewhat outcasted and opposing. And when I say opposing, in the sense of challenging the teacher, challenging the belief systems and philosophies of others. You don't think, and this is all air energy, so they gonna talk, they gonna relate, they gonna express their thoughts. All right. So any type of intellectual debate or anything, they could thrive with these things. They can thrive here, especially when they know what the fuck they talking about. They can thrive with these in that area. But not only being opposing in like the educational field, uh because Aquarius deals with communities, groupings, and whatnot, they can develop significant relationships through school here. You know, if you have Aquarius in ninth house, you're a Gemini rising, and you in college, and you went to college or whatnot, you might have not been the most social person, or whether you was a social person or not. But let's use the example of you not being so out and about in college or whatnot. Your ass still probably going to entertain being a part of a fraternity, being a part of a sorority. Why? Because you've got Saturn here. So Saturn deals with reality, structure, stability, resources. So regardless if they're social or not, they're going to look at that community, at that grouping, at that organization as, hey, if I become a part of this, it can extend this type of resources. It can help me out in the world when I'm dealing with stability and structure. When you join fraternity sororities, a lot of the time these are lifelong, you know, relationships that can be resourceful, that could open up networking opportunities. Okay. So they'll definitely have that pursuit. They, they could be a little picky now that I think about it. Because Gemini risings, like I said, they're gonna attract situations to deal with a lot of relationship interaction in their life. But Gemini risings are not like the Gemini sun and moon. Gemini sun and moon can get easily lost in relationships. Gemini suns and moons, it ain't no doubt about it. If they gonna talk, if they gonna communicate, is they's gonna do that. Days is gonna do that. Motherfucker put day and is together. Days finna do that. But listen, Gemini in the first house a little different because they like to talk to their goddamn selves. You know, they have 10 conversations in that first house with themselves. They're critiquing the whole world and everybody else within their own head. So Gemini risings can actually keep a lot of that shit to themselves. Not saying that they can't be communicative, but there's a difference between that rising and that sun and moon. So I say all of that to say, you know, regardless of what type of relationship circumstances they deal with in their life, they will have that outlook seeing the resourcefulness and the potential to gain more stability and navigate reality based off of being a part of a certain group, community, organization here. So, like I said, fraternities, sororities, all different type of organizations within school, high school, college, they're big on that here. They're big on that. Remember, Saturn ruling this ninth house, Aquarius, deals with reality. So they can be detached from the school system because just like this is the same thing that I was saying with Capricorn as well. How they could get detached from the school system because they could feel like what they're learning is not realistic to help them build stability and structure or help them to excel with how they want to build stability and structure. So they may drop out of college. You know, they may not go to college because they feel like they need to get a head start on building stability and being more realistic, learning something, learning a trade, a skill, gaining some experience with something that they feel like that's actually useful. Saturn, useful. Um, Now when it comes into things these people want to learn, just remember we have to take into account where the house ruler is at, where Saturn's at. But by default, they're abstract thinkers within the educational space. So these motherfuckers could be some geniuses. Aquarius in the ninth house because the ninth house is already dealing with spiritual expansion, is already dealing with uh you know expanding the consciousness through your experiences or through what you're pursuing to learn, right? So when you have when the energy that's such a researcher, that's so intellectual, you know, that deals with logic, that loves to learn, that likes to expand the mind, and you put that in the ninth house, these people can be they can have genius like tendencies. These people can be they could be dope scientists, inventors, all right? Because Aquarius energy is a progressive energy, is dealing with the future, is a very futuristic energy. So the things they maybe want to learn, the things that they may have a crave to learn about with Aquarius in the ninth house can naturally be things to progress society, progress the world, developing this app for that, developing this organization for that, things that can be utilized for others to connect to. These may be things that they want to learn how to build, how to gain the resources for these things. And another reason why they may want to be a part of these groups or organizations to be able to have people to connect and network with to build and stabilize these things. Let's not forget, it's Saturn energy wants to build. All right. These people can be dope philosophers and spiritualists here. You have a spiritually inclined sign, Aquarius, dealing with the unknown, the unfamiliar, abstract thinking, rules astrology, and then you put it in the ninth house. So don't think these people are not going to be deep researchers, deep philosophers. And it may not be expressed all the time. Like, that's the thing here. They got the relatable personality, Gemini in the first house, and you would think because there's Aquarius in the ninth house, they're going to be outwardly communicative about these things, but they can be selective because they understand the environments that they're in at times. They understand where they may not be received well. Like I said, they can be very picky with their social groups here. Very picky with their social groups. Okay. So they know the time and place to express certain things, relate certain forms of knowledge and wisdom, knowing who's going to be receptive towards it. Saturn don't like to waste time. Aquarius don't like to waste no goddamn time. They may be a little lethargic. Aquarius energy may be a little lethargic. It may be hard to move the body because the sun is debilitated here. They may stay in their mind about a lot of things, but they still don't like wasting their time with people or what you would call mundane interactions. All right. So when you put Aquarius in the ninth house, understand that's where the selectiveness comes from, being able to communicate and relate the knowledge and wisdom that they have, the shit that they may know about the occult, shit that they may know about astrology. So this makes a great philosopher, a great spiritualist, a great astrologer, especially if you have Saturn in a spiritual house or like a fire house. So you got Saturn like in the first house, the fifth house, or the eighth, ninth. You have it in this ninth house. We're talking about Aquarius in the ninth house. So I'm a part of the Saturn and Aquarius generation. So a lot of you guys do have Saturn in this ninth house, the Gemini risings I'm talking to that's watching this video. All right. Or you have Aquarius in 11th, Saturn in 11th or 12th house. You guys, shit. Y'all might be able to teach me something about astrology, like a mother. Straight up. All right. So influential teachers too, because their concepts is not going to be so smooth. It may be a little opposing. It may shake up how you look at your reality. It may shake up how you look at spirituality, your belief system. All right. But yeah, natural intellectuals make great potential for a good philosopher, a guru, a spiritualist. All right. When it comes into another thing here, and this, I kind of, damn, I should have mentioned this with Capricorn in ninth house, because we know Capricorn Saturn share so many different, they have so many similarities because they have the same ruler, their neighbor signs, right? But uh Aquarius here, these people can be very intrigued about learning things about the matrix, society, politics, infrastructure. This is something Capricorn in the ninth house may be able to relate to, but Aquarius in the ninth house, they're gonna be all over this. They're gonna be all over this, trying to understand the judicial system. They may get into law or may really like to study law, study sovereignty. Like I said, different organizations and they want to study the sovereignty, how Moors exercise sovereignty, and then study how this organization or this past civilization exercise certain things in society, compare it to how we got to society now, seeing how the infrastructure of schools really correlate to how the prison infrastructure is. Like this the Gemini rising here. This the Aquarius in the ninth house here. So infrastructure, society, relate the societal influences in the matrix. Eight and a half out of 10 times, they're into these things. They're into understanding these things. They're YouTubing things about these things. They're attracting teachers and mentors that's teaching them about these things. Somebody like motherfucking Andrew Tate wouldn't be surprised if he's a Gemini. Matter of fact, now I got it because he just came up my eye. Let me just check real quick, y'all. Andrew Tate. But I doubt they probably have his birth time. Yeah, they don't have his birth time, but where is his Saturn? So he's a Saturn in Sagittarius, okay. But does he have Aquarius placements? No, he don't. He don't. He don't. Okay, but yeah, he's always talking about the Matrix, this, that, and the third. So I just popped up in my head. But it's there's multiple placements that can influence this. But best believe Aquarius in the ninth house. Oh yeah, they're gonna be all up in this. They're gonna be all up in this. Now they may be fixed with their belief system a bit. So like I said, they're up for a debate. They are up for any. They will intellectually challenge you. So you say something about their belief system, they will challenge that shit. Once again, Saturn in the ninth house, very serious about their educational credentials, their knowledge and wisdom. They're not playing about that. They're not playing about that. They standing on that. So Aquarius will let you know here. Aquarius in the ninth house will let you know. You know. So with that fixed mentality, you have to be careful. The fixed mentality will help you to it get a little tricky when we put fixed signs in the ninth house, because ninth house is a house of expansion. So you never want to be too fixed to the way to the you never want to have too fixed of an outlook on things with spirituality when we're constantly learning, constantly expanding. So as adamant as this person can be with the form of knowledge and wisdom that they have, they also have to make sure they stay open into learning new things here. But because Aquarius is such a philosopher, because Aquarius is such a deep researcher, they don't deal with that much friction in this area, especially with it being a sextile. All right, because Aquarius is birthed out the 11th house, but is in the ninth house. So a lot of the times, either they're developing belief systems based off the reality of the world, or they're able to bring their form of spirituality, their belief systems, into the 11th house, aka philosophy, spiritualists, astrologers, teachers, professors, gurus of all different sorts. All right. So you got that going on there. Uh they're definitely gonna have opposing outlooks on spirituality and what other people are developing belief systems in the world. So this could be a philosopher that challenges other philosophers. This could be an astrologer that challenges other astrologers. This could be a professor in this university that's challenging other professors in other schools or teachers within the same facility, within the same environment, in some type of shape or form, but in a progressive manner. Remember, everything about Aquarius is progressive. So their influence to challenge is to help you move forward. You think in a more progressive way, kind of to detach from the things that's been programmed on you in some type of shape or form, so you can expand your consciousness. They could have uncommon, alternative, aspirations and educational pursuits here. You know, they drop out of high school and then go to this alternative school, go to alternative high school. Another thing about Aquarius in this area, because we still have the Uranus influence, so that's where a lot of the individual free thinker energy comes from. But because the Aquarius has that opposing rebellious type influence with Uranus influencing here, the constellation, you, these people belief systems can bring transformation in their life. So the fact that you study astrology and got crystals in your room, that may alter the relationship with your parents, with your loved ones, with your family, because you're breaking off and choosing to experience something on your own, learn about something on your own, you know. And then Uranus, the influence of Uranus here got to claim some power. So not only are they going to look at what they're able to learn as power that they have to utilize in this realm, especially when it comes to building stability and structure, but at the same time, these people feel like them being able to, you know, walk their individual path dealing with spirituality is what's going to bring them a certain sense of power in this lifetime. So when I use power in that sense, is them being able to overcome programs thrown on us in the matrix, programs thrown on us in this third dimension. They're trying to raise above that. They're trying to study and see above those things. So to them, that education that you know is like the Illuminati. Why they call themselves the illuminated ones. All right. They're the ones that have knowledge and wisdom about things that the average person in the world don't have knowledge and wisdom about. So Aquarius can have this occult like demeanor when it comes into the ninth house. You know, they're going to allow themselves to, they're going to try to move themselves into that space where they feel like they know things that the average person does not know. So this is a great place to have Aquarius. Shout out to my Gemini risings. It's a great place to have it. I mentioned that they could struggle with authority in school or in the workplace a bit, or in the workplace. Or in the workplace, you guys can be a little stubborn when somebody trying to teach you something. So you got to be careful of that. You have to be careful of that. But for the most part, family, this is Aquarius in the ninth house. All right, could be very influential teachers here, very influential spiritualists here. But you most likely gonna have to go through some transformations, standing and sticking up for what is it that you truly believe in. All right, it's your God Border Lucky Libra. All right. Appreciate the likes, shares, and the subscriptions. Tap into my website if you like to connect with the Lucky Libra, and tap into my Patreon if you like to dive deeper. All right, family. Until next time, we're wrapping up. Finally, we're wrapping up the ninth house signs to the ninth house series with Pisces in the ninth house. All right. Until next time, family. Peace.